Hi, my name's Leah Hutcheon and I am the founder and CEO of Appointedd. So prior to Appointedd, I was the editor of a wonderful homes and interiors magazine. I got to travel around the country, staying in some of the country's best hotels, seeing amazing houses, and having a really enjoyable career in the kind of editorial side of print magazines. So in 2010 I was made redundant and I was doing some consulting and freelancing, and I'd had the idea for Appointedd when I was at the magazine, because I used to find myself in new places with a bit of time to kill, and I just thought it would be wonderful if I could find somewhere that I could go and get my hair cut or have a massage, and so that was kind of the first port of call for Appointedd, and it started as a proof of concept. I spoke to lots of potential customers and eventually decided to take the leap to start to build a proof of concept, which I worked with an agency in Edinburgh to do so, and I put one foot in front of another until I was knee deep in the potential of a new business, which was really exciting, and went to Entrepreneurial Spark in the early days, got some support from there. I won one of the very first Scottish Edge Awards, which gave me £30,000 to hire an in-house developer, and that was when we really became a company. So Appointedd is an online scheduling platform, and we plug our booking tools into any web-enabled platform, so mainly websites, mobile apps, sometimes member zones, really anything that is web-enabled can take our booking tools, and customers can make a booking, and then our software manages the kind of full customer life cycle journey, and so confirmations, reminders, follow-ups, taking the customer on a specific journey that the business wants it to. So we're a B2B SaaS provider. We power the software and the booking tools, and we work closely with enterprise and small businesses to kind of work out what they want to achieve, what their KPIs are, and help them deliver that via online booking. It's such a great question and very timely. It's a debate that's going on at the moment. So we have grown really well through partnerships, especially during COVID when everything changed. You know, up until COVID hit, Appointedd was very focused on enabling businesses to connect with their customers online and bring them either in store or to a tax advisory meeting or car servicing, bringing it into garage. So it was about that kind of connect online, bring in real life, and so it was a real kind of omni-channel. COVID hit, and of course nobody could go in store and nobody could meet face to face, and so luckily we had a partnership already. We had an integration with Zoom already. We very quickly built a Teams integration. We went and partnered with virtual retail providers who were doing video retail, and kind of from there we built a real big bank of partnerships that allowed us to kind of be a really important piece of the puzzle, but one of a much more connected puzzle. So it's been a really key strategy for growth for us, and a key strategy of two things: how we deliver value to our customers, but also how we grow in a way that we really enjoy. Because I think, well, it's not dead easy to just throw all your money at Google and pay for ads, but theoretically you could do that. That doesn't excite us as a way to grow. We love working with partners in terms of the collaboration that you get, the creativity, like getting the two teams and saying, these are the people we work with, these are the people that we work with, how can we make that greater than the sum of our parts. We've just deployed a really exciting new partnership with a company called New Store, who are a huge retail platform, and they've got amazing products that are just such a sweet fit for so many of our customers, and we're such a great fit for so many of their customers, and they wanted to add online booking into their products, so we've done that through a partnership. So at the moment, or up until very recently, integrations was taking a huge chunk because that was a really big meaty one. But they tend to kind of, sometimes be smaller, more light touch. We have an integration with Zapier as well. So from that, we've been able to actually allow our clients to start integrating our products creatively. So yeah, it's a hard one to put our finger on, but maybe 30% generally, I would say. if only we could talk about all of our customers, it would make marketing's job a lot easier. Yeah, I mean, Appointedd is super proud of the businesses that we power, and unfortunately we can't talk about all of them. We're actually really lucky in some of our spaces that we work. Actually, there's much more openness. So retail, for example, is a huge sector for us. And we power some of the world's biggest brands in terms of retail. So businesses like Lego uses Appointedd, which we love because we're all big Lego fans. Fraser's Group, and really luxury like Harrods and Liberty. So there's some really great brands that we can shout about. But in some of our other sectors, there's less ability to do that. So, for example, Appointedd powers online bookings for 2 of the big 4 consultancies. And for kind of obvious reasons, they don't want us to be talking too much about that. So it is a shame, because we'd love to be able to talk about the kind of creative ways and the ways that they actually use our tools to really stand out in a market. And they quite often, businesses will use Appointedd to give a really VIP experience to their best customers. And so we would love to be able to shout about that, of like how we're transforming a customer journey from being very complex, lots of email back and forwards, to a really simple booking that happens in, on average, 7 seconds. So like there's so much good stuff there, but being able to name them in some of the sectors is a shame. Automotive is another sector that we work with. We've worked with 6 of the UK top 10 OEMs in automotive, and we're not allowed to name any of them. And it's just so gutting, because you've got these amazing stats. We returned one of the projects that we did recently returned return of investment in like the thousands of %. It was like, yeah, it was crazy, but because you can't kind of talk about it in a really open way, it's a bit of a shame. So I guess how we get over that is we try and talk at the kind of next level and kind of elevate to the statistics. And I think one for us that actually surprised us when we found out was Appointedd is powering bookings in 167 countries, which kind of blew our minds when we found that out. We're just about to launch a really exciting data report of kind of helping our customers and prospects understand our kind of insight into bookings and what can make a booking more successful, and understand the trends globally and such like. So when we started digging into our own data to find out that we were powering bookings in over 80% of the world, was like literally a wow moment. And I think it's testament to our multi-time zone technology, and we've got a very kind of global first approach, so multi-languages, multi-time zone, everything is really set up to make it really seamless. But yeah, so we try and talk about those kind of things to just really show how big we are, because I think it's sometimes really easy, and especially probably to a more local market, to say, yeah, we're a company of 30 people based in Edinburgh, but we are powering these really exciting, complex customer journeys for some of the world's biggest and best brands. So yeah, the numbers help. Yeah, it's definitely been really interesting looking at kind of the different cadence of bookings in different countries, and like when the most bookings happen. One of the things that we found really interesting with Asia Pacific versus our European customers was just like the different days. So like bookings are like really, in the UK, actually, we tend to be on our phones or on the internet making bookings, very heavily during the week. In other countries, that isn't so much so for me, actually, the data that we've understood, and we've put together this great pack to really understand some of those trends, but it's only like the beginning of our journey, and actually like understanding it on a more kind of sociological level, and looking at how we can use that to inform our customers in different territories. And I think where we do kind of our best work is in these global brands, so we can start to help them pull from their own data, as alongside the kind of wider macro data that we can give them. So yeah, there's been lots of late night bookings. Everybody is booking late at night, and I think it makes sense, doesn't it? when we're looking at these things, quite often Appointedd powers bookings for big purchases, big life decisions. You know, we handle the big meaty stuff, and we handle it for people who really care about their client's customer journey. And so being able to, as two people together, being able to book a car test drive, you know, you're going to go and spend thousands of pounds on this, so you want to be able to book it at a time when you can both go and know that you can go, and you're going to have an expert there to show you around, you're going to get to experience it and such like. That often does happen late at night once the kids are in bed and you've done your work, and you know, so that was really interesting. But yeah, there's loads, but it feels like just the start of the journey for us, which is really exciting. Our amazing performance. But no, I mean, seriously, the company has grown year on year. We've consistently leveled up, we've consistently brought in new sectors, new territories and such like, and I think, you know, that's the main thing that anybody cares about, isn't it? Whether you're in the team or whether you're in the investors or, you know, the board. In terms of kind of the softer stuff, I think having that relationship and kind of just being open. We've been so lucky actually that our investors really do seem to really care about us and really want to do their best to help us succeed as a company, and I feel so lucky for that. So yeah, for me, I think I do know that actually I could probably go to any of them if I needed something and I thought that they could deliver it, and I think that they would. And I think for me, yeah, I don't underestimate the impact of that. What sits on the other side of that, and our responsibility as a company and my responsibility as a founder, is to be really open and honest to them and to tell them when things aren't as good. And you know, that is also a privilege to be able to do, and be like, this isn't working, I have these questions, can I come to you and ask? Or, you know, or just being really open with our reporting. So yeah, I think it's a two-way street, and we've been certainly very lucky to benefit from like expertise and smart money and kind of an openness and generosity of time as well as money. So this was a fairly smaller round for us, just existing investors coming in, and it was really strategic to power hiring some really key roles that we knew that we wanted to bring on to really open up new territories and new sectors. So it's a really strategic round for us to be like, we are seeing some amazing results in some key areas that are still quite nascent for us, but we've got enough to know that it is repeatable, and if we bring the right people in, we can execute on that. So our new head of product just joined, and she comes from the financial services sector, which is a really key sector for us. So she is kind of, or she was a couple of months ago, our ideal customer profile, and she's amazing at kind of looking at the product in exactly the way that we need. And so that has already, I mean, she's 2 weeks in only, and it's already making a really big impact. So the investment is all about driving that kind of, we know what we need to do, we now need to bring somebody in to execute, and yeah, so far so good. I think we are really lucky in Scotland that there is a real openness. The ecosystem really does want to support, it wants to kind of open doors where it can, give hands up where it can, and I've definitely benefited from that. But I think to get that, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. Like, you have to go and ask the question, and you have to be able to articulate what you need and how somebody can help you. And I've always found actually that people have, you know, generally gone over and above, and it's the start of a relationship that you can then take forward, because, you know, somebody then knows you. I think the Scottish, you know, we're a small country, but we're, as such, you know, there's so many benefits that can come from that in terms of the connectivity, and I think just getting out, especially with other founders, like spending time with people who can support you, who can kind of take some of the pain out of the stuff that feels really hard to you because you've never done it before. You know, there'll be 100 founders who have done it before, and so being able to kind of go to events or connect, you know, whatever that looks like, to just get some support. But yeah, also just going out to the wider ecosystem. Investors generally are really nice. They want to hear from great companies. You know, they want they're investors because they want to make an impact, and they've got the ability to do that. So just being really open and not being afraid, I think. So lots of, as you say, lots of scaling. So we're in a really exciting period. Everyone's back from summer, so lots of contracts, lots of stuff going on, which is really exciting at the moment. We're putting our data report out, which I think will be really interesting for us. It's the first time we've done it, and it is built up out of many hundreds of thousands of bookings, millions of bookings. Anyway, so that'll be really exciting to put out there. And we're just, for us, we've got some really exciting new sectors. Financial services is getting a real double down at the moment, and that's, with like things like consumer duty coming in. Appointedd can do a really good job of being a digital audit trail for financial services businesses and such like. So the conversations we're having, what I love about being the founder of Appointedd is we have a great flexible tool that can really solve problems that don't on the face of it look like online booking problems, but it's like, okay, so consumer duty, so you have this responsibility, you can do that and you can automate it and make sure your clients are coming to see you when you need them to, or are connecting with you. And like being able to automate that and scale it, I think is so rewarding for us as a company, because we can do that for Lego, and then we can do that for big financial services who we can't name. But it's an exciting time, I'd say.